just starting to develop. A snapshot from the past. The first league champion, the Canton Invaders, and the dapper gentleman on the right was president and head coach of the team. He is now the commissioner, Steve Paxos, and he has brought the NPSL into focus. The NPSL is proud to present the entire championship series on ESPN. But we haven't forgotten our friends on the new slightly hotter ESPN2, where you have enjoyed balls of fire action all season long on the game of the week. Each league has its championship trophy. And today, the quest begins for the NPSL trophy, emblematic of soccer excellence, celebrating its 10th season, the National Professional Soccer League in this World Cup year. From the St. Louis Arena, it is Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series, the Cleveland Crunch and the St. Louis Ambush. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Johnson, along with my broadcast partner, Art Kramer. Proud to welcome you to the NPSL Championship Series. And, Art, as we look at the matchup, what a matchup it is. The top two offensive teams from the regular season.
Yeah, wait a second. Offense, yeah, they were the top two in the regular season, but everybody knows defense wins championships, and these are the top two defensive teams in the playoffs.
But wait a minute. Look at the offensive talent we're going to see tonight. Hector Marinero, Zoran Karic for the Cleveland Crunch, David Doyle and company for the St. Louis Ambush.
Yeah,
it's all
you want offense. Look at the goalkeepers. Otto Orff with 6 assists in the playoffs, and Jeff Robin, 7 assists during the regular season, set a record for the Ambush.
All right, well, at least we can agree on one thing. We're on ESPN tonight.
Yeah, but we're also on ESPN, too.
All right, we're getting nowhere with this. We're coming back with the starting lineups. Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series. Moments ago, the traditional way to begin an indoor soccer game, the St. Louis Ambush, introduced in exotic indoor soccer fashion. The lights out, the spotlight on the players, and as well it should be, it's championship action, the NPSL Championship Series, game number 1 between the St. Louis Ambush and Cleveland Crunch. For the Crunch tonight, the starting lineup. You look at the Cleveland Crunch bench, Gary Hindley making the rounds. Otto Orff in goal tonight, George Fernandez, Tim Team at the back, Tommy Tanner in midfield, Zoran Karic and Hector Marinero up front for the Cleveland Crunch. There's a good look at Zoran Karic, part of the dynamic duo with Hector Marinero. Now for the home team, the National Division champs, the St. Louis Ambush. Jeff Robin in goal, Chris Kenny and Kevin Hundeld at the back, John Klein, Joe Reiniger in midfield, and Hedek up front for the St. Louis Ambush. Again, Game 1 NPSL Championship Series. We are in Soccer City, USA, St. Louis. Dave Johnson along with Art Kramer, the Cleveland Crunch in the red. The officials, Steve Siomas, Essie Bahamas, and Jan Getmeyer. Head-to-head, there you see it. The Crunch lead the series 4 games to 1. In fact, this year, the Crunch with a clean sweep. Again, the Crunch in the red jerseys, black shorts. You look at Tim Tima, the St. Louis Ambush in the home white and the black shorts. And again, as we talked about in fun at the Open, both teams, a lot of offense, but they've displayed a lot of good, strong defense here in the playoffs as Tommy Tanner unloads a shot that smacks off the glass, and we're just underway.
Yeah, and you talked about those 3 Cleveland victories during the regular season, Dave. In those 2 games, the dynamic duo combined for 40 points against the Ambush.
The dynamic duo being Hector Marinero and Zoran Karic. And quickly, Otto Orff is put to the test for the Cleveland Crunch, and he comes up. Again, multiple scoring in the NPSL. 2 points for all even strength goals. Beyond that yellow line, they're worth 3 points, and there are shootouts and power plays. We'll explain that when it becomes a factor. Here comes Ted Eck for the St. Louis Ambush. He fires a shot that is blocked by George Fernandez, and we should have a corner kick coming up for the St. Louis Ambush.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, Dave. You saw Otto Orff dribble the ball out over the yellow line. He's more accustomed to throwing that ball long. That time he gave it away and gave the Ambush a good chance right off the bat. And here comes a restart for the Ambush in the early going.
Again, in the National Professional Soccer League, 2 divisions, the American and National Division. Look at Daryl Durant. He guided the St. Louis Ambush to the National Division Championship. David Doyle, they work it around. Kevin Hundeld. Hundeld smacks it off the glass in the box, and Otto Orff comes up with it for the Cleveland Crunch. The Crunch, under the direction of head coach Gary Hindley, finished in 2nd place in the American Division. And we mentioned Daryl Durant on that corner kick. Again, it's the player coach, Ted Eck, now for the St. Louis Ambush. Eck can't get the turn. Eck now is pushed into the corners. Daryl Durant, the player coach. Durant again will press along the boards. Now they'll restart things. Steve Kuntz. Kuntz with a shot. That was from the yellow line. Near 3-point distance. Again, if it's beyond that yellow line and the multiple scoring of the NPSL, it is worth 3 points.
And Kuhn's one of the many rookies on Daryl Duran's squad here. They have 9 rookies on this St. Louis team.
And it really is a St. Louis team, Art Kramer.
That's right, with the exception of David Doyle for Ireland. They are all St. Louis players.
Speaking of which, Mark Thomas for the Cleveland Crunch, and the Crunch now trying to counterattack. Tim Zarabitas pushed along the boards, and a free kick coming up for the Crunch. Look at Deb Reeves on defense on the restart. Tim Zarabitas back to Zoran Karic. Karic now. Mark Thomas chest traps it down. He's also pushed from behind. That'll be a free kick for the Cleveland Crunch.
Take a look at that free kick. It's Schmetzer on the ball, something we haven't seen much this year, and he just fires it wide.
Usually we see Zoran Karic on those situations for the Cleveland Crunch. You get the Crunch in the red jerseys, the St. Louis Ambush in the white jerseys. That was a bit of a surprise. Andy Schmetzer from his defensive position taking the free kick. And how does St. Louis Ambush come up with it? We were just underway, first quarter, no score between the Ambush and Cleveland Crunch. And Zarabitas in the fray along with Sean Medved. Now Zoran Karic. Again, these are the top 2 offensive teams from the regular season of the NPSL, but as Art Kramer pointed out in the open, both have played strong defense here in the postseason.
That's right, but the Crunch can't explode. They average 17.9 points per game in the regular season.
Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series, and we have a kick-in coming up for the Cleveland Crunch as we look at the St. Louis Ambush bench. Again, the line changes done like they do in hockey. Good look at one of the rookies for the Ambush, Kevin Groark.
Kevin Groark, first team all-rookie team this year. Had a fine season. His older brother, Tom Groark, a good soccer family there.
Zoran Karic, that's what we expect on the restarts. He puts it into the wall, and now the St. Louis Ambush have to clear it out. Mark Moser taken down from behind, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul. The cards are out, and it's on George Fernandez as he took Mark Moser down from behind. Tommy Tanner protesting. That's a look at Tanner who's protesting. Let's see what the call is. Steve Siomos, the director of officials for the NPSL. Foul is on George Fernandez. He will go to the box for 2 minutes. So we mentioned multiple scoring. What happens here? A one-on-one shootout with the goalkeeper. If the St. Louis player scores, it's worth 1 point. Either way, there will be a 2-minute power play coming up. If St. Louis scores during that period of time, it'll also be worth 2 points. 1 point rather. And on the shootout, David Doyle misses it. So that will not go on the scoreboard. Look at David Doyle in frustration. And now the St. Louis Ambush with a 2-minute power play worth 1 point.
Yeah, David, normally really accurate on these shootouts. He was 2 for 4 coming in, but you saw there he just fired it wide. And now St. Louis will be on the power play where they've been exceptional here in the playoffs. 5 for 8 on the power play. And Cleveland having some problems killing off. They gave up 4 goals in 5 attempts to Buffalo in the first series.
Quickly, Mark Moser mishits it for the St. Louis Ambush. So a power play for the team in white. The St. Louis Ambush as George Fernandez goes off for tripping. 11:49 left here in the first quarter of play. 1:47 left on the power play. So there you see George Fernandez disagreeing, as most players do with calls at times, especially when they end up in the penalty box. Daryl Duran now. Duran in the box. It's loose. And Cleveland is able to sweep it away. Look at the penalty killing. 2 for 7 in the playoffs. That's
Stevie Maurer probably wishes he had that one back as Duran set him up with a nice pass off the board.
Duran, it's in the net. 1-point goal.
And Dave, there's that power play we talked about. David Doyle giving the ball down low in the corner to Daryl Duran. Daryl from a bad angle actually beats Orff up high. Watch again, Daryl with his left foot strikes it first time, and that sneaks in the near side.
Yeah, David Doyle splitting the defenders. And out of Orff, well, he doesn't like having to kill off penalties, and there's his reaction, the Cleveland Crunch goalkeeper. So the Ambush strike first. They do it on a power play again. Even strength goals are worth 2 points. That was a man advantage goal. That's worth 1 point. And the St. Louis Ambush here in Game 1 of the NPSL Best of 5 Championship Series lead the Cleveland Crunch 1-0. Yeah, the Crunch have been down this road before. Runners-up last season, losing to the champion, Kansas City Impact. And from the yellow line, St. Louis over pitched a 3-point goal.
That's right. Doyle caught Otto napping outside outside the goal, and he almost had a three-pointer, and that ball just hit the crossbar.
In the St. Louis ambush in the white jerseys, the Cleveland Crunch in the red, and Steve Kuntz probing into the box for St. Louis. Kuntz now with the ball, but we're going to have a whistle and a foul on St. Louis. So a free kick coming up for the Cleveland Crunch with 10:47 left here in the first quarter of play.
Yeah, we've seen Cleveland play quite often this year, Dave, and this is probably the most tentative I've seen them look at the start of the game.
David Doyle, and it's blocked down by Tim Tima. John Klein now for the St. Louis ambush. Back to David Doyle. The ambush lead 1-0. And you're right, the Crunch have not had too many wanderings upfield, and they're usually the team that does a lot of attacking. They did a little bit early on, and then really since the Fernandez penalty, it's been all St. Louis. Off Durant's thigh, this is Klein, back to Daryl Durant. Durant, the shot, it's off Monteworth, back into that two-point goal.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Gary Hinley take a timeout here, Dave. As Daryl, who had 101 points in the regular season, has 3 early points. As you saw the ball hit off the back of Otto's right hand, and the ambush has a 3-0 lead.
Daryl Durant, the player coach, and he can get excited. It's his team. So the St. Louis ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 3-0. Early days, though. First quarter, game 1, NPSL Championship Series. It is Balls of Fire. Kramer back in St. Louis at the St. Louis Arena. The St. Louis ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 3-0. Daryl Durant with the goal from John Klein. And the ambush on top early on in this contest. And the Cleveland Crunch, they take a wise timeout to try to regroup. Again, the St. Louis ambush advancing to the NPSL Championship Series by eliminating the Detroit Rockers. The Cleveland Crunch eliminated the Harrisburg Heat to advance to this best-of-5 championship series.
Yeah, and that last goal, that's a goalie's nightmare, Dave, when that ball hits off the back wall and then hits off your hand or your back and goes in.
Well, that's just it. If you're new to indoor soccer, the boards become such a factor, and Otto Orff can testify to that, is he did cut down the angle and actually forced the shot wide, but the ricochet ended up off his back.
And there you see Otto play the ball out of bounds, and St. Louis is going to have a free kick just behind the yellow line.
And again, in the NPSL, you have to give it back. Look at Steve Siomas. He could go all the way. Siomas, whoops, that's the wrong sport. Siomas making the run, though. He is fit. You have to be a referee. He owns a couple of restaurants in Chicago, but obviously he's not eating too much there. You have to stay in shape. Tedek for the ambush of St. Louis.
Once again, I'm sure Otto Orff would like to turn back the clock and start this game over. As you see, that shot, just a weak shot, gets under his right arm. He may have been screened, but still a ball Otto should probably stop.
David Doyle with the goal. Tedek with the assist. A two-pointer at even strength. So now the St. Louis ambush are blanking the Cleveland Crunch 5-0. Now, again, this is something else if you're new to indoor soccer. If you think this is a rout, it's not. The mood shift, the scoring swings can be rather dramatic in this contest, as we've seen on some of our NPSL Game of the Weeks on ESPN2. The Cleveland Crunch in the red jersey, St. Louis in the white. Daryl Durant clears it out momentarily. Now Tedek. Tim Tima, though, back for Cleveland. The pressure by Tedek, but Otto Orff is able to clear the goalkeeper for the Cleveland Crunch. George Fernandez intervening there for Cleveland, but St. Louis continues the pressure, and Cleveland looks a little bit out of sync right now. It's 6s and 7s, Art.
Yeah, I would have thought Cleveland would have been the team to come out with the confidence and composure. They were in the championship series last year. Only 2 St. Louis players have ever been in the NPSL finals. Tim Tima and Steve Maurer. They were teammates with the Canton Invaders in the early 80s.
And that goes back to your days with the Canton Invaders. You were part of that first championship team in this league. In the NPSL celebrating anniversary number 10 in this World Cup year. Zoran Karic on the restart. Lofts it. Hector Marinero, the foul. He's a save. Jeff Robin.
Yeah, what a great strike by Hector, though, from a bad angle to hit that ball on target.
And that's the wake-up call for Jeff Robin. We haven't had to call his name much tonight. He's not been that busy. David Doyle is challenged by George Fernandez of Cleveland. Tommy Tanner now for the clutch. Zoran Karic. David Doyle with the steal. Orf is out. Orf still out. Steve Kuntz pressuring. Now Sean Medved. Zoran Karic into the net. It's in the net. Two-point goal for the Crunch.
And that's what the doctor ordered for the Crunch. They needed that goal to break this momentum, and a nice one-touch shot by Zoran. After a good ball by Sean Medved.
And you know what started that, Art Kramer? It was the St. Louis pressure, actually. They had too many people upfield.
There you see Zoran, one of the best ball strikers in the league MVP this season. And what a bullet past Robin.
So the 2 points go to the Cleveland Crunch, and it's 5-2, the St. Louis Ambush. And if they can score one from beyond the yellow line, they can tie it. That's how the NPSL scoring works.
And that's got to be restarted. As you saw the player on the bottom of the screen, Steve Kuntz, run forward before the ball was touched.
I'll tell you what, Steve Kuntz is 6'5", 195 pounds out of St. Louis University. That's part of the soccer tradition here in St. Louis. The Billikens at one time were the NCAA dynasty, which you would compare to UCLA in basketball.
Yeah, St. Louis, they've got a huge team. Steve Maurer, 6'3", Ted Eck, 6'3", Kuntz is 6'5", Moser 6'1". Boy, these guys are huge.
Now, how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Oh, get out of here. 5 what?
5'9".
5'9.5", I'll grant you. How would you like to be playing out there today against this Ambush team? On the restart, the Ambush, Steve Maurer can't get it down in the box, and now the Cleveland Crunch bring it out. The Crunch of the red jerseys, 6'4". Sean Medved. Medved the shot from three-point distance. It's blocked by Chris Kenny. Steve Maurer, Glenn Carbonero, you saw in the header for Cleveland. Again, Carbonero the hard challenge. But St. Louis is doing a pretty good job of keeping Cleveland on the ropes. Away! But Andy Schmetcher's right there. Here come the Crunch. Medved can't get to it. And Jeff Robin does in traffic, the St. Louis goalkeeper.
And we get a look at Robin's arm here.
And goalkeepers, as also you pointed out at the start, play a big part in the offense, Art Kramer.
That's right, Otto Orf, 6 assists already this season, has more points than 9 field players on the Crunch.
Let's call him Pele. Long ball from Mark Thomas. Daryl Durrell, the player coach on him. Mark Thomas for the Cleveland Crunch. Sean Medved, he's challenged. Joe Reiniger with the challenge. Reiniger getting pushed around. The whistle by Steve Siomas. It'll be a free kick coming up for the St. Louis Ambush with Joe Reiniger.
Yeah, Joe had a hot start to the season, then had a hamstring problem, but has come back and scored a lot of points. Also a first-team all-rookie this year.
Ted Eck straddling that yellow line. Off the boards. Ted Eck. Again with the ball. Former U.S. national team.
Yeah, a big acquisition at the midpoint of the season. When they got Ted Eck, they really started to roll. It just gives them one more target player to feed the ball to. As you see right here, he's good with his back to the goal.
Ted Eck from Granite City, Illinois. It's just across the river, correct?
That is correct.
We should say Art Kramer is St. Louis native, part of that soccer tradition. Already talking about your Cardinals today. Mark Moser. Reiniger sends it upfield for Mark Moser. Moser, a little squib that Otto Orf was able to play off his feet. 5:54 left here. First quarter of play goes the length of the field. The St. Louis Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 5-2. This is Game 1 NPSL Championship Series, and you better believe it is Balls of Fire. David Doyle! What a goal! It's in the net!
Yeah, three-pointer. What a goal by Doyle.
Watch it, counted for 3. Look where he is.
Oh, and that ball hits the crossbar and the goalpost and finds its way in the net. Just watch it again.
Incredible scoring in the NPSL. Jeff Robin gets the assist. We talk about goalkeepers being involved in the offense, but that, like you see in the NBA, a three-pointer, the trade, baby, right? Who says that? Nick Patel. 5:35 left, first quarter, and the St. Louis ambush coming with more. Here's David Doyle. Doyle, a couple of nice turns. Shot blocked, though, by George Fernandez. Credit him.
Yeah, Doyle scored 3 goals in the All-Star game and probably should have been voted MVP in that game. And then in the regular season, 176 points, but they give the MVP to Kevin Hundell. Maybe this will be his series where he wins the MVP.
All right, the St. Louis ambush. Look at David Doyle, who just notched the three-pointer. On the restart, Doyle goes across the ball. Hundell into the net. Kevin Hundell, 2-point goal.
MVP Kevin Hundell. As you see, Doyle split 3-4 defenders, and another shot that Otto probably should have stopped.
Look at what Otto Orff faces, the goalkeeper. That's the acutest of angles. 10-2 the score. The St. Louis ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch. Game 1, NPSL Championship Series. It is a best-of-5 series. Sean Medved now, probing forward, getting around Mike Laposha. But Laposha, though, wins the ball in the corner. Zerembitis, and that's into the seats. 4:56 left here in the first quarter of play. It's been all St. Louis for the most part. The ambush leading the Cleveland Crunch 10-2 in Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series. As we look at Jeff Robin looking downfield.
Soccer House, 10 Trees, Heritage Estates Apartments. Dr. David Martin.
Shot by Klein. Whistle and a foul, and we're going to have a free kick coming up for Cleveland. We're talking about the Cleveland Crunch making it to the NPSL Championship Series, second year in a row. Here's what they did. They defeated the Buffalo Blizzards in round number 1, 2-1, and also against Harrisburg. It took 3 games, 2-1. As for St. Louis,
yeah, they beat Milwaukee there. In fact, it was a missed kick in the last minute of the game that went right to Ted Eck to win that Milwaukee series, and then they took care of an Andy Chapman-less Detroit Rockers squad in the finals.
The goalkeeper for the Cleveland Crunch, who has been under siege here in the first quarter of play, but it's still a long time left in this contest. And that's why you see the St. Louis ambush attacking with such vigor. This is not like you see sometimes in outdoor soccer where you can sit back on even a 1-goal lead. Steve Maurer, nice ricochet on the boards, but Otto Orff fields it like a shortstop. Kevin Hundell now for the St. Louis ambush. Ninth thing forward is Hundell from behind. Whistle and a foul. Tim Zerembitis, it'll be a free kick for St. Louis.
Yeah, Zerembitis in there with the injury to Dougie Miller, and Zerembitis doesn't normally play, but he's on that second line, commits the foul from behind on Hundell. St. Louis with another free kick here.
Great restart situation. David Doyle, the shot. Rattled the crossbar on that one. Into the first couple of seats, and it'll be a kick in for Cleveland. St. Louis ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 10-2. It is Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series. Balls of fire.
Crash and score with the most explosive sports video of the year. Announcing Balls of Fire, the first official NPSL home video. Call 1-800-80-KICKS to get the greatest goals, the coolest kicks, and all the picture-perfect plays. If you like your sports action fast and furious, call 1-800-80-KICKS for the video you'll love. Only $14.95 plus shipping and handling. All major credit cards accepted, not available in stores. You've got to have Balls of Fire. Call 1-800-80-KICKS. Call now.
Johnson, Art Kramer in St. Louis. The ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 10-2. Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series. We continue our Balls of Fire series. Zoran Garrett's lofts it in the air. Now the St. Louis ambush clear. Again, the ambush in the home white jerseys. The Cleveland Crunch in the road Crunch red. Good defense on the part of the ambush. David Doyle now trying to catch on a Orf foul. He goes off the glass, and Orf the ricochet was tough for him.
Hey, when you got the hot hand, keep shooting. As you saw Doyle on the free kick before, and then there from the other side of midfield.
We should point out, maybe hot foot, David Doyle with a three-pointer tonight. Getting multiple scoring in the NPSL.
And he's going in his own goal. Doyle, a three-pointer, a two-pointer, and an assist. 6 points here in the first quarter, and there's still 3 minutes left.
Again, even strength goals are worth 2 points. Joe Reiniger with the shot, the follow by Steve Kuntz. Now Reiniger on the left side for the St. Louis Ambush. Reiniger, Steve Kuntz, he is 6'5", but very good with the feet as well. Kevin Hundelt. The board pass to Hundelt. And the Crunch bringing out their defensive third. Tommy Tanner for Cleveland. 2:17 left, first quarter. The Ambush lead 10-2. Zoran Karic. Into Hector Marinaro. Marinaro in the box. Back out to Tanner. The shot. Roman the save.
Good save by Roman after a nice setup by Hector. You see Hector playing with his back to the goal. A lot like Zoran does, and he made a nice setup there to Andy Schmetzer.
Mark Moser, the back heel for St. Louis, but Cleveland. Tim Tima gets it away from David Doyle. Look at Tima. He's a digger. He gets on the carpet. He'll do whatever it takes.
Tima's played 10 years in this league. He's been in 5 championship finals.
Jeff Roman is out. Zoran Karic across the goal mouth. Sean Medved on the right wing for the Cleveland Crunch. Carbonero now. Carbonero, bit of a concentration lapse. John Klein all over him. Daryl Durant trying to step in front of Karic. Referee part of the field of play. We'll have a whistle and a foul coming up on John Klein. So free kick for the Cleveland Crunch. David Doyle, I think he wanted to shoot from there. Tim Tima wins the ball back. Hector Marinaro in the corner. Daryl Durant in the white jersey on him. Marinaro for the Cleveland Crunch. Tim Tima off his thigh. And it's cleared by St. Louis into the Cleveland bench. It'll be a kick-in coming up for the Cleveland Crunch.
Yeah, St. Louis so far has done a great job of not committing fouls in their own zone. They also have to be careful of their clearances, as that time they cleared the ball into the crowd, and Cleveland will get a restart down deep.
St. Louis Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 10-2. Game 1 NPSL Championship Series. We are in St. Louis at the famed arena, which is in its final season. On the restart, Doug Miller's into the contest. He's been bothered by an ankle injury, so we see him in on a restart situation. Steve Kuntz now for the ambush, and he's ambushed by Glenn Carbonell from behind. And you look at Doug Miller, he puts it back to Otto Orff. We've seen a lot of Tim Zambitas tonight for the Cleveland Crunch, the rookie player. We see that because Doug Miller, an indoor veteran, is out with an ankle injury for the Crunch.
That's right. Miller will come on for free kicks, as you saw there. They like to set up that left foot. In fact, he scored 3 goals in one game against Buffalo, all off those restarts.
So bothered by a right ankle injury. 10-2 the score. 29.8 seconds left. And it'll be a restart for the St. Louis Ambush. Free kick from the yellow line. Kevin Hundelt is going to call a timeout, and wisely so, I think. You have a chance on restarts. They're golden opportunities. You have a timeout afforded to you. Take it, talk it, and sort it out so you take good advantage of it. Look at Hundelt, who's got a goal tonight, a 2-pointer. Gary Henley, the head coach of the Cleveland Crunch. You know, interestingly enough, you would think a Cleveland Crunch squad would be worried about being down 10-2, but this is a team that has been down so many times, back to the wall, and they seem to thrive in situations like that. I don't know if Gary Henley enjoys that, but that's what happens.
Yeah, and you see their playoff record there at 10-7. Every series that they've been in, Dave, has gone the distance, including last year's finals against Kansas City, went 5 games.
As for the St. Louis Ambush, look at Daryl Duran, and in the front of your screen, that's the assistant coach, Ike Beavis.
Yeah, and Ike has just done a great job. You know, I really believe that the key to Daryl's success this year as a player, he had a career year offensively, has been Ike Beavis on the bench there. Last year when Daryle took over, he did not have Ike on the bench. This year, Ike's been able to do a lot of the bench work, has taken a lot of the pressure off Daryle Duran.
Looking like Beavis.
And Daryle trying to become the second rookie coach in as many years to win NPSL championships. Zoran Savic did it last year with the Kansas City Attack.
Kevin Hundelt on the restart. Doyle, it's in the net. 2-point goal. May have gone off Mark Moser. Mark Moser.
Yeah, Dave, I don't know if that initial shot was actually in, and then the ball bounced right back to Moser. Watch again here. The first shot hits off the post, and there's Moser. You know, Moser's an unbelievable story. He scored 114 points this year, playing not even a regular shift. He comes on every third shift, and 52-point goals for Mose this year.
Well, that was definitely Mark Moser, as we saw in the replays. It went off the post, and Cleveland now down 12-2. And again, you see at home why they take a timeout before they execute a free kick, a restart situation in that situation, because it certainly did pay off as some of the young fans, hey, they can't believe you sit in the front row, look what you get. But you don't get to take it home. And there's Steve Siomas.
Yeah, he's breathing a little harder this time now.
He's got a long way to go, but so far in the first quarter, he's had to do some sprints. Hope he's in shape. We know he is. As referees all during the regular season, director of officials, so he's got his playoff legs. Steve Kuntz has some legs. Kuntz works the save.
And that ball almost bounced off Otto again, but some slack defense on the part of Cleveland to let these St. Louis forwards walk right in.
Whistle and a foul. And on the restart, the St. Louis ambush wastes no time. But time is out. So, 15 minutes of indoor soccer in the books. The St. Louis ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 12-2, and you better believe they like it here in St. Louis. Game 1 NPSL Championship Series. It is Balls of Fire. Competition is intense in the championship series, even for a souvenir ball. That's right, the fans here, they want one of those souvenir balls that the players throw out, toss it there. The battle cry. Maybe Daryle Duran will toss it to the crowd. I mean, player coach, likes to accommodate the fans. Look at the first quarter scoring summary, and it's a mouthful for the St. Louis ambush. Daryle Duran, David Doyle. Zoran Karic sneaks in there for Cleveland, but look at David Doyle with a three-pointer. Assist to Jeff Robin, the goalkeeper. Kevin Hundelt with another one. Mark Moser from David Doyle.
Yeah, and you see David Doyle's name all over that score sheet. 8 points in the first quarter, a new NPSL record.
And a new goalkeeper.
Yeah, Bill Andracki's going to come in, and looks like he's going to play the rest of this half at least, as Otto Orff was shelled in the first quarter.
All right, so Gary Henley, a former goalkeeper himself, making that decision. Look at Gary Henley. Obviously, maybe he saw something where maybe Otto Orff having a little bit of an off night, or what do you think, Art?
Yeah, well, Otto's having an off night, no doubt, but the Cleveland defenders are not giving Otto a whole lot of help. If your goalkeeper's struggling, it's up to the defenders to step their game up a notch, block some shots, play a little bit tighter defense, and they did not do that in the first quarter.
The Cleveland Crunch in the red jersey, St. Louis in the white against St. Louis leads at 12-2. Multiple scoring NPSL, 2 points for even strength goals, 3 points for goals scored beyond that yellow line. We've seen one tonight, and there are shootouts and power plays. We'll get to that as it happens if you're just joining us, because we've already seen that tonight as well. Jeff Robin, the goalkeeper for the St. Louis ambush. Tedek. John Klein now the ball for St. Louis. And St. Louis continues to be the attacking force.
And Cleveland, the one giving away the free kicks in their own zone tonight. This is probably the 7th or 8th good free kick St. Louis has had here.
14:23 left here in the first half of play. Game 1 NPSL Championship Series from St. Louis. David Doyle, there he is again. Daryle Duran off the boards. Kevin Hundelt. When covered air now for Cleveland. Tim Zerembitis now for the Crunch. You know what's apparently obvious is the ambush winning the 50-50 balls. Every one of them, it seems, at this point.
Yeah, they're first to the ball here tonight, at least in the first quarter.
13:59 left here in the first half. Steve Maurer chest traps him down. Again, it's not hard to miss the ambush players on your screen as we talk about. This is an American team full of size and strength.
Yeah, and St. Louis likes to start their attack with Jeff Robin lobbing the ball downfield to the likes of Eck and Maurer, and they'll hold the ball up or flick it on and try to run off it.
Steve Maurer pokes it over to Steve Kuntz. Kuntz can't get a shot off. Andracki, this save. I should say gets the pass back from his own defender. Hector Marinero now. Looking forward for Tommy Tanner, actually. And now we have a little bit of passion, if you will, on the side. Zoran Karic going at it with Steve Maurer. And it'll be a free kick coming up for the Cleveland Crunch.
And Zoran's got to be careful. He doesn't get frustrated here, Dave, and find time in the box. Watch again after the play here. Maurer comes up and watch Zoran. Swings around with that left hand. I tell you, Maurer's not a guy you really want to mess with.
Now, Zoran has to remember these guys have some size. Now, having said that, St. Louis, again, one of the top offensive teams, so we're not trying to say that St. Louis is a brute force team. A lot of skill on this team. Hector Marinero trying to get it for the Cleveland Crunch. The crowd just being informed that David Doyle is setting the NPSL record with 8 points in that first quarter in the championship series. The Crunch, Zoran Karic going for the three-pointer. Tommy Tanner, the header, and now Jeff Robin punches it out. The shot by Karic. Robin comes up with it.
Yeah, Hector looking for a handball there. He felt the St. Louis defender came across and hit that ball out with his arm.
Kevin Hundell now on the attack. Steve Kuntz, Andracki. Bill Andracki for Cleveland. Ambush in the white jerseys, Cleveland in the red. Daryl Durant, nice ball for Steve Maurer off the boards.
It's another one Stevie would like that back. Beautiful feed by Durant.
That was a beautiful pass. That's the shot of a veteran. Cleared out by Cleveland. We're going to have a kick-in coming up for St. Louis. Look at Zoran, the half volley.
And right there, you saw Hundell come across, and it looked like it might hit his arm, but tough to tell.
Bill Andracki called on to make a big-time save against Kevin Groark, the rookie in the contest for the St. Louis Ambush. On the restart, Andracki another save.
Oh, what a save by Andracki. Again, some very careless marking by the Crunch defenders.
11:51 left here, first half. It is St. Louis 12, Cleveland 2.
Yeah, guys should not be that open at the far post.
David Doyle, already 8 points tonight to his credit, including a 3-point goal. Back heel, Ted Eck. Again, the 50-50 ball. Doyle into the box. Cleveland is able to clamp down on defense.
And Tima must have heard me at that time. The legend, Tim Tima, gets back post to snuff out that chance.
The legend, Tim Tima.
That's right. He holds the NPSL record in 3 different categories: penalty minutes, block shots, and games played.
There he is, Tim Tima on the ball momentarily for Cleveland, but David Doyle, three-pointer, rattle the glass. Into the corner, Tim Tima on the ball. A follow-up again by Doyle. And NASA better have something on that. Look at Tim Tima, the mad scientist. Back to the future. It's a guy from Taxi. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Christopher Lloyd. There he goes. 11:04 left.
And you see Timmy, that's one guy that'll get that team fired up. 10 years in the league, 5 championship series. You can't get much better than that.
St. Louis Ambush leading Cleveland Crunch 12-2, and a pretty good look-alike for Christopher Lloyd as Paul Lahowski, the director of operations for the NPSL, so aptly pointed out, because I'm not good at movies. I forget these guys' names. Who's the guy Fox starred with him in that movie?
I don't watch any TV. All I watch is soccer on the Deuce.
That's right. Balls of fire, baby. Hector Marinero, Cleveland Crunch. Now George Barrett's the director chiming in. There was Dr. Emmett Brown in that movie. Siskel and Ebert here tonight. Actually, credit that to tape. I understand the people handling the tape tonight up on their movie trivia. So you get more for your money in an NPSL broadcast. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. The St. Louis Ambush leading the Cleveland Crunch 12-2.
The St. Louis Ambush and Patrick, USA.
Now for the Cleveland Crunch, this isn't a movie, this is real life. Sean Medved, the shot. And again, as we talk about this multiple scoring, the Crunch, a team that can score in waves. And the Waves have to start going in their direction. But again, it's the Ambush with the momentum across the box, and Draki. And we saw Tim Zarabinas come up with a good ball. The long outlet. Zoran Karic, Daryl Duran on him, and right back to Jeff Robin.
Great defense by Daryl Duran. And notice he doesn't commit fouls. He plays Zoran straight up and doing an excellent job of it.
The ricochet off the boards. Glenn Carbonero gets it away from Mark Moser. And again, the Crunch now trying the attack. Andy Schmetzer. Around the boards. And Jeff Robin scoops it up. Look at Jeff Robin, the goalkeeper. He has been tested tonight, but he's come up big. Save for that shot by Zoran Karic on a restart that accounts for the only goal of the night for Cleveland. The aforementioned legend, Tim Tebow, comes up with the ball, and the Crunch with the head upfield.
High school trainers. Sherwin Medical, official sponsor of the St.
George
Louis
Fernandez.
Ambush.
Tommy Tanner. Tanner has some trouble with it. Mark Thomas now in the corner. Thomas taken down by Chris Kenny. And it'll be a free kick coming up for the Cleveland Crunch. Now they want to get Zoran Karic out there in a hurry on this one.
There was a little confusion at the Cleveland bench, but they got him on anyway.
Hector Marinero. The shot. Save at the post. St. Louis now on defense. They've got to buckle down. Marinero pokes it in. It's Karic. It's in the net. Two-pointer.
Yeah, St. Louis anticipated that they could go the other way on the counter. 4 players sprinted out of the zone, and that left Cleveland with a 2-on-0 in the box. And you give Karic a 2-on-0, he's not going to miss many chances. Watch again. Ball comes out. You see no St. Louis players back in the box.
And Mark Thomas had to get out of the way of that one, otherwise he would have blocked it. And that's all Cleveland would have needed tonight. Zoran Karic punctuates it. The St. Louis Ambush lead, however, leading the Cleveland Crunch 12-4. The Crunch, they're not happy because they're down by 8 points. Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series. In St. Louis, the Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 12-4 with 8:27 left here in the second quarter of play. But the Cleveland Crunch in the red jerseys just scoring on a goal by Zoran Karic's second two-pointer of the night. Again, multiple scoring in the NPSL, part of what makes this soccer so exciting.
Yeah, that's what Cleveland needs to do. They need to chip away at this lead and try to get back in it by halftime. 8 points in this game. They're by no means out of this one.
Mark Thomas into the corner for the Crunch. Remember, this same building, the NPSL All-Star game, the final score was 29-21. All right, another restart opportunity for the Crunch. Karic quickly. Karic again. Schmetzer on the left side for the Crunch. Hector Marinero, the ricochet, and Jeff Robin is able to come up with it. Daryl Duran now, the player coach for the St. Louis Ambush. He wastes no time in getting it upfield. Steve Mauer trying to poke it forward for St. Louis. Deb Reeves chest traps it down. But Cleveland now tries to counterattack. Chris Kenny intervenes. Kenny tripped up by Mark Thomas with a free kick, St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis going to a couple new players now. They got Chris Kenny and Terry Brown. They have not seen any action tonight until this point.
It's another good point, Art Kramer. St. Louis definitely has used far number of players. They seem to use the entire bench.
And Brown just back from an injury. This is his first action in the playoffs.
And that's not a criticism of the Cleveland Crunch. It's just a difference of styles. See Kevin Gork out there also getting some carpet time for St. Louis. Kevin Hundell dumped to the turf momentarily, but he's back up. You have to be resilient in this game. 6:57 left. First half of play. St. Louis Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 12-4. It is balls of fire. One of our Balls of Fire series.
St. Louis ambush.
Zoran Karic. They call him the Z-Man off the glass. Tim Zerbetis can't get the half volley, but he draws the foul. Free kick coming up for the Cleveland Crunch. And hey, you're talking about Balls of Fire. You can buy Balls of Fire. 1-800-80-KICKS. The best of the NPSL captured through the miracle of videotape. 1-800-80-KICKS, a hot video. It's got to be hot because it's Balls of Fire. Hector Marinero trying to make it on that highlight tape. Across the goal mouth. That won't get you on the highlight tape either. You got to finish.
Yeah, that ball got through Robin's legs. Unfortunately for the ambush, Hector Marinero wasn't there to put it in.
Kevin Hundell to get 1-800-80-KICKS. As Bill Andracki comes up with it. If you haven't seen that video, you don't know what you're missing. It's the thing Art Kramer watches over and over again. He's worn out that tape. David Doyle collects it nicely. Doyle upfield. The shot is in the net.
Well, to put it mildly, David Doyle is on fire. As you see that one, a rocket to Andracki's right side.
Now, look at Steve Kuntz on the left side. You just saw him on your screen. He was wide open, but Doyle took it himself. St. Louis 14, Cleveland 4. It is Balls of Fire. This is the battle cry of the fans. Dave Johnson, Art Kramer in St. Louis. The ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 14-4. They should. 10 points tonight.
Yeah, he certainly is the best here tonight.
And once again, the ambush organized back on defense as Jeff Robin comes up with it. 5:50 left here in the first half of play. Zoran Karic hanging out around the yellow line. And it'll be a kick-in coming up as you look at Daryl Duran, the player coach of the ambush. Kick-in coming up for the Cleveland Crunch.
And I'll bet you a little bit of money here, Dave, that Zoran Karic is going to shoot this ball directly.
I'm nobody's fool. I've been here for the entire Balls of Fire series. He loves to take these shots, and he can finish them. But that time, almost finished off a couple of fans with that kind of shot.
Hector and Zoran are upset about something. I think they thought that ball was deflected.
Tim Tima also jumping up and down, and Zoran Karic making his opinion known. Talking to Steve Siomas.
You see how Robin just lobs the ball down the field to those big guys.
Tenek, one of the big guys. There he is in the white jersey, and he gets plowed into the turf by Tim Tima. And a free kick coming up for the St. Louis ambush. Get the ambush in the white jerseys, Cleveland in the ring.
Siomas has something in his hand, the referee.
On the restart, Bill Andracki snares David Doyle attempt. What does he have? Maybe he's got a souvenir hat.
An Indians cap.
Well, we're in St. Louis, though, but the Indian fans must be even here in this Cardinal City. The St. Louis ambush now, bringing out their defensive third. George Fernandez back on defense.
They had a Tribe at 7-5, but hey, the Cardinals 8-5. Couple big victories over the Atlanta Braves.
All right. We pointed out you're from St. Louis. You're loving life in your hometown again. Tom Tanner. 4:45 left here in the first half of play, and we have a whistle. Look at the ambush bench, and they look a little bit ambushed. They're a little bit tired, and well, they should be, the effort they're putting out tonight. But again, they use this entire bench. I think we've seen everyone there play tonight, Art Kramer.
That's right, and as we said, all those guys, St. Louisans, with the exception of David Doyle.
On the ambush.
On the restart.
More information at 647.
Marinero with the shot. Hector Marinero into the box it goes, but they swarm. Now the ambush. Nice ricochet off the boards by Eck, but Kevin Hundell couldn't get there. Now the Crunch at midfield trying to create something. Tommy Tanner and Tenek going at it. Tenek gets called for the foul. Free kick for Cleveland.
Yeah, defensively, Cleveland just not getting back with any intensity. And it's cost him here tonight.
Win Carbonero puts it forward for the Cleveland Crutch. 4:16 left. Zoran Karic now for the Cleveland Crutch. Karic cleared out by David Doyle, but Cleveland now, they've got to maintain the pressure. Down by 10 points. Marinero intercepted by St. Louis, and St. Louis is going to execute a line change, just give up the ball. Interesting strategy there. Carbonero, hard ricochet off the boards, and cleared out by Deb Reeves. Again, keep your program handy, because St. Louis, again, you're going to see all the players play. Wide open is Steve Maurer. Maurer turns on Andracki. Andracki, the goalkeeper, stays with it. Maurer, now Joe Reiniger, the save by Andracki. Joe Reiniger digs it out. This is Maurer again, another save, Andracki. Now the Cleveland Crutch, maybe a counterattack. Hector Marinero, three-point effort. Steve Maurer.
A delayed blue card coming up against Cleveland
as Reiniger was put hard down on the turf. And we're going to see a penalty coming up. You look at Reiniger.
Watch again as right there, Sean Medved.
So Bill Andracki's been a busy guy tonight, and he's about to get a bit busier. He really hung in there with Steve Maurer, the St. Louis ambush player.
Yeah, and then Maurer does well to find Johnny Klein.
Now Joe Reiniger there. That was Reiniger. And now a shootout situation. So it's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. If the St. Louis player scores here, it's worth 1 point. This is Mark Moser. Moser! It's in the net. He gets it in. He had 5 seconds.
Moser pull the ball back with his left foot. Nice footwork.
Gets the job done, and they're saying how sweet it is. They're eating the posters here in St. Louis. So Cleveland's going to call a timeout. St. Louis also gets a man advantage for the next 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 46 seconds left here in the first half of play. So the St. Louis ambush on top now, 15-4. And you look at the shootout situation. Describe it, Art.
Yeah, Moser, it looked like he was going to shoot the ball. That's what Andracki thought, and he just pulled it back to his right foot.
Again, you see a lot of finesse in that situation, but again, he's only got 5 seconds to complete all that.
Yeah, and Mark, not really a finesse player, but he showed a little bit of footwork there.
All right, get your pens and paper out. The TV schedule, Balls of Fire NPSL Championship Series. There it is. Game 1, April 27th, 1 o'clock. And the rest of it, so mark it down. Tell your friends it is Balls of Fire. And all times are Eastern. So don't get confused. Just subtract or add, depending on where you are watching this. And if you're not happy with that time, if it doesn't exactly fit your schedule, well, call ESPN and let them know that you want Balls of Fire at a time that's more suitable to you. Or better yet, write them a letter. Now, NPSL trading cards are, of course, part of the fair at any arena. And I think you better watch the game because they're back in play. He's busy with the cards.
Yeah, it's important that Cleveland finishes this half strong here. 2:42 left, down by 11.
He's working the trading card. He's probably looking for the broadcaster's card. Dave Johnson, Art Kramer.
Yeah, he's probably trying to find one of mine in there. You have to search long and hard.
What could he trade one of you for? Zoran Karic, maybe. The shot, Jeff Rowe the same.
He could get five Art Kramers for Zoran Karic.
Now, the Cleveland Crutch on the restart. Hector Marinero, and it's off the woodwork, off the crossbar.
And that's a restart that's been on for him tonight, is Hector getting that ball over the top and hitting it first time.
Mandrake clears it over the glass. Well, we talked about trading cards. I don't know if, Art, you have one, but we can maybe make a trading card based on your, well, picture from about 10 years ago. Art Kramer, the 84-85 season, looked as intense then as you do now. From the champion Canton Invaders.
No comment.
Well, you're embarrassed. You look good in that picture. You look poised. You actually look mad. Do you remember that picture being taken, or is that too many photo ops later? All right, Kramer's going to have the fans an opportunity to take a picture of him because he's heading downstairs to meet with the players who do have trading cards. The St. Louis Ambush on the attack. Daryl Duran, you can find him on a trading card. A minute 57 left here in the first half. The Cleveland Crunch, they'd like to trade the score around. They trail 15-4. There's still a minute 4 left on the penalty to Sean Medved. The St. Louis Ambush with a power play. So far, Cleveland's done a good job to keep St. Louis at odds during this power play. Zoran Karic. 48 seconds left. This is not going to be a power play to remember for the St. Louis Ambush as that power play winds down. 40 seconds left. Bill Andracki, the goalkeeper for the Cleveland Crunch. Daryl Duran, but again, the pressure to score not as great, but still something to consider. 15-4 the score. Kevin Hundell. They work it around. David Doyle. Attempt from outside the yellow line, and Andracki the save, and we're going to have a corner kick coming up for the Ambush with 15 seconds on the man advantage. Give St. Louis scores here. It is worth 1 point. They've already captured the 1 point from the shootout. Daryl Duran. Lost it for Mark Moser. The volley almost off Tim Tebow into the net. 10 seconds on the power play. Mark Moser. David Doyle. Cracker of a shot. Teams at even strength. Any score here will be worth 2 points. Mark Moser digs in. Moser across the box. Sean Medved now for the Cleveland Crunch. David Doyle tripped up. It'll be a free kick coming up for David Doyle. He has reason to smile. 10 points tonight. Game 1 NPSL Championship Series. It is a best of 5. You have to have steel nerves to make it through the first couple of rounds of the playoffs because those series best of 3, but still not much room for error. That's why Cleveland definitely at halftime are going to want to get things sorted out as we approach halftime. John Klein puts it back to Jeff Robert. You look at the clock there. It's not been a memorable first half for Cleveland, but most of the damage done in the first quarter by St. Louis. They certainly have owned the field. 2 seconds left. John Klein offers a token shot. So the St. Louis Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 15-4. And Art Kramer is down on the carpet with David Doyle. Art?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. With David Doyle, David, 10 points there in the first half. You couldn't imagine it was going to be this easy coming in.
Well, it hasn't been easy. We've had to work to get what we've gotten, but it's only 30 minutes, so we got another 30 to go, so hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, 3-pointer, a 2-pointer. All you need now is the 1-pointer. You missed the shootout early. Maybe the old cycle here tonight?
I couldn't care less as long as we win the game. That's the most important thing. Doesn't matter who scores.
Tell us a little bit about the 3-pointer.
I just, they backed off, and I just hit it. I seen Moser at the back post. I was kind of like trying to drive it to the back post, and got some air and hit the top corner. I'll take it.
All right, great stuff, David. David Doyle, a new playoff record tonight. 8 points in the first quarter, 10 points for the half. Back to you, Dave.
All right, Art Kramer. An exciting half indeed. We're going to be back with some halftime festivities. The St. Louis Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 15-4. Balls of fire. In St. Louis, a look at the commissioner of the National Professional Soccer League, Steve Baxos. That is a shot of him today. And as we showed you at the outset, 10 years ago, he was president and head coach of the then champion Canton Invaders, and still working on the phones today for the National Professional Soccer League. At halftime, the St. Louis Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 15-4 in Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series. Highlights from this first half of play, as the score indicates, a lot of scoring by St. Louis. Player coach Daryl Duran gets right in the fray.
Yeah, Daryl got him started with 3 early points.
So Daryl Duran, the player coach, starts the scoring. But the ambush, as you look here, Kevin Hundelt, the Cleveland defense at 6s and 7s.
Yeah, no question. Blame Otto Orff all you want, but the Cleveland defense not playing a whole lot of defense here tonight.
And again, we're going to see you got to be in the right place at the right time. Mark Moser left alone. And that point makes it 12-2 in favor of the St. Louis ambush. Again, the halftime score, the St. Louis ambush in front of the Cleveland Crunch, 15-4. But perhaps the real story for the St. Louis ambush from this first half, Art Kramer, has to be David Doyle. 10 points, that ties an NPSL playoff record for a half, most scoring in a half. He's only 1 point away from the NPSL playoff record for most scoring in an entire game.
Yeah, and you heard Doyle say that it wasn't easy, but he certainly made it look easy there in the first half.
And part of that scoring a 3-point goal. All right, you've enjoyed the ESPN2 look. When we come back on our Balls of Fire series, a different look. Stick around. Again in the half, it is St. Louis 15, Cleveland 4. Please, but what is she talking about? ESPN2 or maybe ESPN? I guess it is ESPN. As you know, the Balls of Fire series is on ESPN2, but also all games of the NPSL Championship Series are on ESPN. Mark it down on your calendar. All times are Eastern. Now, when you're getting ready for ESPN broadcast, it's a bit different. I mean, things have got to be neat. Things have got to be in order. You got to use an iron. You got to wear ties. As you know, ESPN2, it's no ties. We have to put on the ties here now. It's a different look, a different approach. And all right, Kramers, we get set for the second half of play. Now that we've got the ESPN look, our first ties all season, how will you announce differently in the second half?
Hey, I don't know how I'm going to announce. I haven't worn a tie since my high school prom. How did I tie it there? Look all right?
You look good. How do I look?
Oh, you look fine.
Sharp. Still a little bit of ESPN2 colors, but just those stories about your high school prom. We're coming back with more action in the second half. It's NPSL Balls of Fire. They haven't changed their clothes. They're going to be back in the second half as well. Do as the NPSL does. The official NPSL hotel in St. Louis is the Harley Hotel. It is convenient to the airport. 314-291-6800, the Harley Hotel. Zoran Karic of the Cleveland Crunch. The Crunch again in the red jerseys. The St. Louis ambush in the white jerseys. And Jeff Robin, the St. Louis goalkeeper, comes up with it. Game 1, NPSL Championship Series. We're in St. Louis. And the ambush lead the Crunch. 17-4, Kevin Groark. The ball up, it's in the net. 2-point goal.
Dave, Steve Maurer had a few chances in the first half. This time, the young rookie, Kevin Groark, brings it down the right side, and watch Maurer hit this ball first time. No chance for Bill Andracki.
19-4. We have 6:35 left in the third quarter of play. Game 1, NPSL Championship Series. So far, it's been St. Louis. St. Louis, Andracki, though, Bill Andracki, the goalkeeper for Cleveland, is able to scoop it up.
And all fairness to Andracki, he has not played that poorly since coming in to start the second quarter.
The other end of the carpet. Whistle and a foul, and a free kick coming up for Cleveland. Now, the Crunch of Cleveland and head coach Gary Henley talked about the advantage. They had 3 days rest coming into this series, but maybe they should just play one right after another, the way this team reacts to adversity. Again, we talked about this Cleveland team. They like to take playoff series to the full limit. In fact, in their history, they've always gone the full limit, the 2-year history of the Cleveland Crunch. Zoran Karic at the yellow line. Karic makes a nice move, but Tedek on defense. For St. Louis, John Klein now for the ambush. He's got Joe Reiniger upfield, but Cleveland now getting back on defense. Here comes Kevin Hundelt for the ambush. Tedek. Tedek for the ambush, and Andracki the save. Part of awesome April. Hundell. John Klein digs into the corner. George Fernandez on defense there for Cleveland, right in the, across the box. Hector Marinero tries to clear it out, but look who has it again, St. Louis. Tedek, former national team player. Joe Reiniger, Tim Tima. Good defense, Tim Tima. Ahead to Zoran Karic. Here comes the crunch. Karic makes that turn. Daryl Durant stays with him. Hard challenge. And a free kick coming up for Cleveland, foul on Joe Reiniger.
Yeah, good defense at both ends of the floor. You saw Tima win that ball and make a nice outlet pass. And then some good defense by Daryl Durant on the Z-man.
Foul on Cleveland, though. It'll be a free kick coming up for the St. Louis Ambush. They lead 19-4. There's player coach Daryl Durant. Hector Marinero to Zoran Karic. Karic off the post.
And that time, not a very good pass by Daryl as he gave the ball up. And as you said, the Z-man hit the post.
Dev Reeves and Sean Medved collide. Reeves wins. He's for the St. Louis Ambush. Cleveland, though, strong on defense. Bill Andracki gives it up to Andy Schmetzer. Wes Seacrest along the boards. Wes Seacrest for Cleveland. Whistle and a foul and a free kick for St. Louis. The Ambush. David Doyle again with 10 points tonight. Wes Seacrest to Zoran Karic. Karic, it's blocked by Chris Kenny. A free kick for St. Louis. This is where Karic.
Yeah, you see there, and that ball actually hit Robin and deflected off the post. Z-man getting a little bit frustrated out here, Dave. He's having some words right now with Steve Siomis. Doesn't like the double and triple team that St. Louis has been throwing at him tonight.
Ball played back to Bill Andracki, the goalkeeper for Cleveland. Wes Seacrest now. George Fernandez now for the Cleveland Crunch. Fernandez, long ball upfield. Mark Thomas. The St. Louis Ambush again with another attack. This is Kevin Hundell. Hundell. The shot by Gork is blocked. Tommy Tanner now for the Crunch. His shot blocked by Daryl Durant.
And the difference being St. Louis running 3 against 2, Cleveland running 1 against 3, 1 against 4.
Hector Marinero, the shot almost redirected in, but Jeff Roman comes up with it. Mark Moser. And the foul against Moser, so it'll be a free kick for the St. Louis, for the Cleveland Crunch.
Good battle here between the two big left footers. You see Moser get his body in there. Tough call.
Well, the fans in St. Louis don't like it, but you see there, it went either way, and the foul on Moser. It's not always the defender's fault. Jeff Robin comes up with it, the goalkeeper for the St. Louis Ambush. 2:10 left now. In the third quarter of play, Game 1 NPSL Championship Series, we are in St. Louis. And now a bit of a jersey tug. And that called against Tommy Tanner as he took down Joe Reiniger. John Klein, a three-point effort, and that goes into the seats. And it will be a goal kick coming up for the Cleveland Crunch. And well, they take a little bit of a time to retrieve it. A pretty good throw as it turned out. Hector Marinero, 14 shots, 2 goals between the dynamic duo. There's part of the dynamic duo, Hector Marinero.
Yeah, and I said earlier in the telecast, Hector with 20 points in just 3 games against the St. Louis Ambush team being shut down here tonight.
And again, those 2 goals belong actually to Zoran Karic. Cleveland, George Fernandez. so free kick coming up 4. The Cleveland Crutch with 1:40 left here in the third quarter. Jeff Robin is there to snip. Robin, long outlet. Intervening is Tedek. But Cleveland a little bit tighter now in defense. Tim Tima, Fernandez have trouble with it. Tedek is there for St. Louis. David Doyle to Eck. The back heel by Eck to Doyle. The cross. Mike LaPosha for St. Louis running onto it. LaPosha does well to get it out of the corner. Tim Tima put to the carpet, and it's been a rough second half.
That's still smiling, though. T-Man's going to battle all the way through. That's why he's been in the 5 championship finals.
Tonight, Beavis, the assistant coach, talking to Mike LaPosha just a moment ago. Ball played back to Sean Medved. Hector Marinero, the bicycle kick. A 2-footed bicycle kick. Watch this.
Good effort. Hector still going strong.
Not everyone can do that. He executed one. It's on our Balls of Fire videotape. The All-Star game last year. That is on the Balls of Fire videotape. That can be purchased by calling 1-800-80-KICKS. You want to see the best in indoor soccer? 1-800-80-KICKS. It's only $19.95. Fact, call now. Right, if you're under 18, ask your parents. 16 seconds left here in the third quarter. Sean Medved. Back to Carbonero. Carbonero sends a long one. Daryl Duran with 4 seconds. Here's Steve Mauer. The follow by Doyle, and that's it. 3 quarters in the books.
That's the end of the third quarter.
David Doyle has reason to mingle with the fans. He can enjoy it a little bit. The Crunch cannot. After 3 quarters, it's the St. Louis Ambush 19, the Cleveland Crunch 4, Game 1, NPSL Championship Series. Balls of Fire.
This is
ESPN2. We are slightly hotter. It's Balls of Fire. The St. Louis Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch 19-4. This gentleman has a reason to be hot with passion for the game of indoor soccer. He is Dr. Abraham Hawatma, the owner of the St. Louis Ambush. He also could be hot because of the commissioner's cigar that is in his face the entire night. Steve Paxos, the commissioner of the National Professional Soccer League. You notice how Steve is right above the NPSL banner because he's the commissioner. And Abe Hawatma, he wanted to be the first one in the camera shot, so he hangs out by the ESPN2 banner.
And Dr. Hawatma at the All-Star game said, I hate these guys when they lose, but I love them when they win.
Well, you should be loving them tonight. Maybe he'll light up a victory cigar. We should point out that was not a victory cigar on the part of Steve Paxos because he is neutral. He is the commissioner. But it is a victory for the league. It is the 10th anniversary season celebrating 10 years of soccer excellence, the National Professional Soccer League. And we've got 15 minutes of Balls of Fire action coming your way. In the fourth quarter, the St. Louis Ambush again in the white jerseys, the Cleveland Crunch in the red jerseys. And again, the Ambush trying to win Game 1 of this NPSL Best of 5 Championship Series. The Crunch looking for a comeback of the ages.
And Dave, Gary Hindley going to some players that he normally would not use in this situation. Scott Uteritz on now, playing in the back. And Wes Sechrist also we saw before. He's playing on a shift.
Right, Scott Uteritz just touches the ball.
To the NPSL.
And now the St. Louis Ambush in the white jerseys trying to bring it out.
Yeah, and with 3 games in 4 days, it's a good move there by Gary Hindley.
Mark Thomas poked away by Daryl Duran. Dev Reeves is back to give it back to Jeff Robin. Chest trap by Tedek. They're going to get up with a handball.
Good call that time by Steve Siomis. As we pointed out before, Robin just lobbing that ball down the field to those big target men, and they've done a great job tonight of holding the ball up.
Ball left for Andy Schmetzer, but, well, there's Sean Medved. The Crunch, Cleveland Crunch, stay with it. Scott Uteritz. Tedek. And a foul coming coming up on 10X. So free kick for the Cleveland Crunch. Urich goes off. Zoran Karic. Almost redirected it by Mark Thomas. In the ambush, a commanding lead after the first quarter of play, but as the score indicates, the Crunch have never really been able to threaten on the scoreboard. Daryl Duran, the player coach, getting back. Some jersey tugging, got a foul of the Cleveland Crunch. There'll be a free kick coming up for the St. Louis Ambush. 19-4 the score. Game 1 of this NPSL Championship Series. And again, we talk about this being part of our Balls of Fire series. You want more Balls of Fire action? It's 1-800-80-KICKS. The official NPSL video is out on the streets. It's Balls of Fire. It is hot indeed, and it's a very cool price, $19.95. Sizzling, you might say. Matter of speaking. Zoran Karic for the Cleveland Crunch. 13 minutes left. Tommy Tanner. And it's into the seats. Look at the Crunch, their worst playoff loss. Well, game 1 of the championship finals and game 5.
Yeah, and this season, the Crunch season low offensive output, Dave, was just 8 points. So they're held 4 points below that here tonight. Great job tonight by the St. Louis Ambush defense and goalkeeping.
And this guy has both goals. Zoran Karic, 2 two-point goals. Give him, he is the league's most valuable player.
And the crowd jumping on the Z-Man there as he kicked the ball into the net instead of giving it back to Jeff Robin.
Well, trying to get the hat trick one way or the other tonight. Again, multiple scoring in the NPSL. If you're just tuning in, 2 points for even strength goals, 3 points for goals scored behind the yellow line. I should say beyond the yellow line. And there are shootouts and power plays. We've seen a couple tonight. They are worth 1 point. It's an accountant's dream. Look at Cleveland's Zoran Karic. Karic, Sean Medved, blocked by Robin. Hector Marinero, and again, into the stands. And the outlet. He can play for the Cardinals.
Phoenix Cardinals.
You take a lot of pride in your St. Louis Cardinals. And we should point out, Art Kramer, Mr. Sports, are now the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't follow them anymore.
That's a little dig in there at Bill Bidwell and company. In the NFL, part of the programming on ESPN, but this begins with an N. It's the NPSL. Nice ball. Hundelt the shot. Hundelt still with it. Trying to use the board. Bill Andracki, the outlet. Now the St. Louis Ambush. David Doyle, 3-pointer. To the net.
Doyle break the record in the first quarter with 8 points. That ties the record, 2 3-pointers in one game, and also breaks the record for most points in a game with 13.
All right, 22-4. The St. Louis Ambush over the Cleveland Crunch. It's game 1 NPSL Championship Series. Yes, Balls of Fire. Jetson, Art Kramer, 11:46 left in the fourth quarter of play. The St. Louis Ambush lead the Cleveland Crunch. Again, the Ambush in the white jerseys, the Crunch in the red. Here come the Ambush again. David Doyle just scored a 3-pointer. NPSL playoff record, most 3-pointers in a game, 2, and he's got the most points in NPSL playoff history in a game, 13 on the night. Jeff Robin. David Doyle also tying Michael King's record for most 3-pointers in a game. Michael King also part of that record of the Milwaukee Wave. Is looking Ike Beavis talking to David Doyle. Doyle on the right of your screen.
And if my memory stands correct, Dave, the most points ever in a regular season game would be 15 I know the Z-Man holds part of that record.
Zoran Karic of the Cleveland Crunch. Look at David Doyle. They love David Doyle. Number 11 is the best. He surpassed his number tonight in scoring. Number 13 turns out to be lucky. Bill Andracki. Long ball upfield. Terry Brown onto the carpet for the St. Louis Ambush. He has a 2-point goal tonight. Again, the Ambush used the entire roster. And at this point, of course, so are the Cleveland Crunch. Andracki the save. That's something we should mention. Again, you talked about it earlier. Andracki has made some big saves tonight.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see who Gary Henley comes back with in game 2. I would assume that would be Otto Orff again.
Well, I mean, again, it got to be such a situation. St. Louis led 12-2 after 1 quarter of play. I don't think it was that he was certainly conceding defeat at that point, but things were not going well with Otto Orff in there. And sometimes a change at that point, you know, ups your defense a little bit, and it also does not demoralize your starting goalkeeper, Otto Orff, if he has to stay in there.
That's right, and if Otto comes out for game 2, he'll be fired up, ready to go.
Zoran Karic knocks down a couple of defenders. Chris Kenny digging in there, so is Terry Brown. But the Cleveland Crunch in the red jersey stay with it. Under 10 minutes left of this contest. Balls of fire on ESPN and ESPN2. Nice ball for Mark Moser. Maybe just a little bit too much on it as the Cleveland defense able to get back.
And St. Louis with a 4-on-3 here, but not rushing things.
Mike Laposha. Laposha, he's going to make Cleveland force the action.
You know, it's one thing to let a team play 4-on-3 when you're in a place like the Convocation Center where there's not a lot of space, but this building is too wide to let a team play with numbers up, and St. Louis has capitalized all night long.
Talking about the home of the Cleveland Crunch, the Cleveland State Convocation Center. Hector Marinello with the shot. That'll be the site of game 3. Best of 5 series, the first 2 games in St. Louis. This is game 1. Again, Hector Marinello, he's been shut out tonight, but he is clearly one of the best all time of indoor soccer. Should point out he does have 1 assist, but no goals. Hector Marinello. Long ball upfield, and it's cleared out by Andracki, the goalkeeper for the Cleveland Crunch. Zoran Karic into the corner. Kevin Hundelt's there, but we have a whistle and a foul, and a free kick coming up for Cleveland. Zoran Karic, quick restart. Marinero. Andy Schmetzer, Scott Uteritz.
Fourth goal of the evening, David Doyle with 13 points this evening.
And you're about to hear a big crowd cheer here in St. Louis. They're announcing that David Doyle has set the NPSL playoff record for most points in a playoff game, 13. There's the crowd reaction, but St. Louis on defense. Karic, Hundell with a big block. Karic stays with it. Zoran's still with it. Zoran Karic for Cleveland. It's in the net. 2-point goal. Hector Marinello.
And you see why Zoran Karic had 104 assists on the regular season. Kept plugging away, and then the toe pass to Hector at the far post.
Well, Zoran does all this work, has the defense absolutely going
Watch the little toe pass there.
Assisted by number 16, Zoran.
He's all alone.
Hey, teach the kids not to pass with their toe, but when you're that good, through the legs of Hundell.
So you don't want any of your youth teams picking up these bad habits, right?
And when you've got the technique of a Zoran Karic, you can get away with passes like that.
8:17 left here in the 4th quarter. So the Cleveland Crunch get on the board again, 22-6. Again, multiple scoring in the NPSL. Tell your friends the entire championship series on ESPN. Balls of fire it is. In the strictest sense of the word. Bill Andracki. Andy Schmetzer.
Game time is 7:35 p.m. right here at the arena. Call the ambush office for more information at 647.
Sean Medved now on the ball for the Cleveland Crunch.
St. Louis ambush souvenirs are available at the front gates of the arena.
Back to Bill Andracki. Jeff Robin, oh, he has to snare that one in midair. Michael Posher. Back to Dev Reeves. Jeff Robin now wandering out. Good ball. Terry Brown in the corner for the St. Louis ambush. Brown. Daryl Duran, the player coach. Again, the ambush keeping possession, and Jeff Robin not staying back in his box. Cleveland Crunch again in the white jerseys. A shot by Mark Thomas into the corner. Tenek on it for St. Louis. Chris Kenny there, and I think he's going to get called for a foul. Well, the free kick coming up for the Cleveland Crunch, and Hector Marinero just scored a goal. 113 goals this season. The restart. Look at that. Most goals of the year.
213 goals in 2 years.
And Zoran Karic, most assists. That's why they call him the dynamic duo. You can't have one without the other. I think it's part of a song, isn't it? No?
Yeah, it is.
What song is
I'm not going to sing it for you, though.
What is it? You can't have one without...
That's Love and Marriage.
Love and Marriage, all right. No, that's because you're engaged. That's what it's in. You're getting cold feet already. It's a year away. 22-6. I'm striking out tonight. I can't remember movies. I can't remember songs. All I remember is balls of fire action. And that's what indoor soccer is about. And the St. Louis ambush, you know, you'd like to say that, well, they're trying to keep possession just to run out the clock, but they've had possession most of the night. This has been the story.
That's been their game plan, to come out, keep possession of the ball. The less the dynamic duo, Hector and Zoran, have of the ball, the less they could score goals. And more importantly, they've made good decisions when they've had the ball.
You know, the other thing is I've seen several guys marking a Zoran Karic or a Hector Marinero. I don't know if we could focus on one that has marked them all night, could we?
Duran's done a good job, but a good job of double teaming Zoran, as that off forward will come back and help out.
Game one of the NPSL Championship Series here in St. Louis. Look at Hector Marinero, the Cleveland Crunch trail.
And the first restart from the top of the D tonight, and these usually are goals for the Crunch.
Zoran Karic, you don't want to be in that three-man wall. There it is. Zoran Karic off the post. Perhaps a sign of the way things have gone tonight for the Crunch of Cleveland.
Exactly.
Karic, Robin stomachs it. Rattle your pancreas. Daryl Duran. Into the corner to Coots. The shot behind Andracki. And Cleveland able to control. David Doyle. In the middle of your screen there. But Tim Tebow on defense for the Crunch. Kick in coming up. Well, as we said, win in St. Louis, do like the NPSL. The official NPSL hotel in St. Louis is the Harley Hotel. It's convenient to everywhere, including the St. Louis Airport, Lambert Field. 314-291-6800 is the number.
Nothing like a good night's sleep at the Harley, Dave.
I was just thinking about that as we get set for game 2, but for now it's still game 1. Zoran Karic will get the free kick for the Cleveland Crunch.
He's got to give this one to Hector.
Hector Marinero's off to his left. Instead, Karic toes it. And Jeff Robin, the goalkeeper for St. Louis, comes up with it. Now David Doyle. Doyle, the ricochet off the board, middle of the box. It's Maurer, the follow-up Doyle. Tim Zarabinas for Cleveland. Zarabinas freight traded upfield. And he's getting pushed around from behind by Steve Maurer. And a free kick for Cleveland.
And the problem for Cleveland is when they don't hit the target on those free kicks, the ball directly comes out, and then they have to have Zorn and Hector playing defense going the other way. And as a result, St. Louis has been getting a lot of 2-on-1 breaks.
Carriage, team up. Tim team up for Cleveland. Balls of fire action. The NPSL. Sean Medved. Tim team again. The Cleveland Crunch in the red. St. Louis in the white jerseys. Medved double team. You look at the score, 22-6, St. Louis leading Cleveland, and look at the frustration of the Crunch. They'll just have to forget about it and think about game 2. Zoran Karic standing over the ball. This has been a near-perfect performance tonight for St. Louis from the goalkeeping of Jeff Roman. But meantime, we have a breakaway. Here comes Kevin Hundelt. Though. Joe Reininger poked away. As I said, near perfect performance tonight.
Well, you talk about unselfish. I'd like to know what Kevin was thinking on that one. He had an all-out breakaway. Thought he saw his help coming on his left side, but should have taken it in himself.
Chris Kenny on the restart. You can do that when you're up 22-6. Joe Reininger in the corner. And Reininger is fouled, so we'll have a free kick coming up for the St. Louis ambush. Lynn Carbonero, the culprit. 2:47 left. Reininger, it's in the net!
Everybody getting into the act tonight, Dave. You saw the rookie, Joe Reininger. And this is what he's very deadly at, are those free kicks. And that's why he's on the first team all-rookie. Free kicks like that.
2:45 left in the game. St. Louis 24, Cleveland 6. Balls of fire. And perhaps the ambush started to celebrate a little bit. They've worked hard tonight. And for their effort, a 24-6 lead here. You know, every time St. Louis, Glenn Carbonero on the ball, Deb Reeves, Carbonero stays with it, the ambush come on. Every time St. Louis scores a goal, they fire the cannon behind the goal and send smoke. The ambush again, Kevin Gork gets into the... without them scoring. They should have been a delayed penalty anywhere there on Zarembides. But Kevin Gork, the young rookie, you see Zarembides try to grab him, can't even pull him down. That tells you what kind of night it is when you can't even foul. 26-6 the score, and again the cannon goes off. It's like San Francisco up here where we are. There's this great big fog from all the smoke that's been hitting the upper reaches of the St. Louis Arena. All right, the St. Louis ambush leading the Cleveland Crunch 24-6. 1:51 left in this contest. And it's hard to see where we are with all the scoring that's been going on. The ambush continue. The ambush. Terry Brown on the ball.
And if you're Gary Henley, you tell the troops after the game, guys, we came down here looking for a split. We need to get one win here and then take it back to the Cleveland Convocation Center. So you can bet this team's going to come out in game 2 with a little bit more intensity and try to even the series.
All right, good point. Game 2 is in St. Louis. Game 3 is at the Cleveland State Convocation Center, the home of the Cleveland Crunch, and if necessary, Game 4 as well. If this thing goes the distance, as we should point out, if Cleveland's involved, it has a habit of going that way. Game 5 is also in St. Louis. St. Louis, the National Division champions. Cleveland, the American Division second-place team.
Yeah, you're always looking for that split in the playoffs on the road, and then you make it home field advantage for yourself.
Well, certainly tonight's effort by St. Louis is a testament to what you can do when you're in your home building. Wes Sechrist on the ball for Cleveland. Under a minute left in the game. The Crunch continue to try. Terry Brown puts it back to his goalkeeper, Jeff Robin. 32 seconds left.
And 6 points will be the lowest output of the season by the Cleveland Crunch.
So, this is following a pattern. Again, last season in Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series, it was Kansas City that spanked Cleveland 18-6, but that series went 5 games. Jeff Robin with 9 seconds, and I think they're going to be dancing in the streets on Oakland Avenue in St. Louis. Indeed they are. Game 1 of the NPSL Championship Series belongs to the Ambush of St. Louis. They have defeated the Crunch of Cleveland 26-6. David Doyle, the real big story tonight. 13 points in one game. An NPSL playoff record. And that is reason to applaud for the St. Louis fans. A near perfect effort for the St. Louis Ambush. Again, the Ambush defeated the Cleveland Crunch 26-6. So the St. Louis Ambush lead this best-of-5 NPSL Championship Series 1-0. For Art Kramer and Dave Johnson, we'll see you for Game 2. It's Balls of Fire.